What are you doing?
Leaving a recording so I can get some B-roll.
Don't get any B-roll.
Yeah, I need B-roll for bloopers.
Well, it's only funny if it's an actual blooper, not forced. So do something funny and I'll laugh. Do you want me to say what you're doing right now?
No.
Exactly. All right. Can Vanna White it for you?
I was going to say that's cute. You're doing a little Vanna White thing.
All right. Enough of that. Hey guys, welcome back to Gimpys Gal Guesses. This is episode 4, I believe. And today's a little bit different because I'm going to be unboxing this game. And then I'm also going to briefly touch on a couple of expansions that are available for this. So this one is called, excuse me, Mark H. Walker's 65, Squad Level Combat in the Jungles of Vietnam. So this one is another one that looks like it was like hand drawn on the front of the box. I really like the detail on the front of this box is like, this guy's pretty hot. So I would definitely buy the game, and I think you guys should buy it just because this guy looks pretty hot. And I know that's very important to everyone that views my husband's videos. So, but anyway, I do like the front of this box, but obviously I know that this is some type of Vietnam combat game. As usual, I haven't seen anything in it, I haven't read over anything, I'm completely oblivious to everything in here. But I am going to be talking about a couple of expansions at the end, so if you want to see that, just stick around till the end. This is the front of the box, and then on the back, just have Squad Level Combat in the Jungles of Vietnam. It does show the counters. I'm not sure how many. Okay, at the bottom we have 3 mounted game boards, 4 die-cut counter sheets, 1 deck of 54 action cards, full color rules and scenario booklet, player aid cards. It is for ages 14 and up, 2 players, and you're looking at a 1 to 3 hour playtime. I guess this is by Flying Pig Games, not... Oh, it's a Mark H. Walker design, but Flying Pig Games, which, oh my gosh, is he not the cutest little pig ever? Love. So that's the back of the box. So I'll just set this up over here. Is that good? Okay. So we have our cards. There's 2. Is this one? You don't know what this one is? This is with this box though, right? This little pack. The only reason I'm asking is because it says action cards on the barcode, and it's a barcode, and these expansions have the barcode, so I don't know if this goes with those or with these, but we will figure it out. I'll open them up in a second. Here's our deck of cards, and then here are the contents in here. Okay. So we have Flying Pig Games Training Aid, Tactical Game 65. August 2016, I guess, is when this was released or when this was published. So I'm assuming this is it says the training aid, so like the rule book, I guess. Just has all the credits on the inside. I'm not going to read through it. I know the other one got me a little excited with the stop boxes, and I got so excited that I thought I could just read the stop boxes and figure the game out that I went a little heavy on the reading side of it. So unfortunately this doesn't have stop boxes, but good for you, don't have to worry about me reading them and boring you to tears. So let's see if we can figure out. All right, it looks like this is based mostly on like actual historical events. Obviously we know Vietnam happened, but it says that it explains the firefights that happened there, and it says it's those firefights that 65 depicts. So it says, I have to read you this part, even though I just said I wasn't going to read. It says, it is a game that replicates the America's awesome firepower. Purpose and scope. Okay, it says it's a card-driven game, so I guess that's what these come in handy for. I don't normally open them up, but I'm going to open because I'm trying not to read through the rule book. That kind of defeats the purpose of me guessing if I'm just reading it. So I'm going to try to put it together without reading as much of the rule book. And Gimpy to the rescue with all of his weapons. All right. Which, by the way, I have to tell this story because I want to know how many of you this has happened to. So if this has happened to you, feel free to leave a comment. It'll help Gimpy's case a little more because right now it's not. But the other day we were sitting here, the kids were in bed. He stood up to do something and his pocket knife was wide open. He stood up and it was sticking straight out. Thankfully, he went to do something and he felt it. And so he was able to close it and, you know, nobody got hurt. But I immediately thought, what if one of the kids ran up? How did that happen? Oh my gosh, that's so dangerous. And he's like, this is my best knife. I can't go without it. And I'm like, are you stupid? So how likely is it, or how often, or if at all, has it happened to you guys? Because that really freaked me out. I'm sure it was just that he keeps a lot of stuff in his pockets. He's one of those like pocket people, lots of things in the pockets. And so it probably just got caught on something. Hasn't happened before or since, but it really freaked me out. Back to the game. So these are the cards. So it just has different actions on them. Like some of them just have like little just explanations of what to do. Like eliminate one enemy hero. And then some of them have these, which say like fast move, rally, and then turret hit, or misfire, I'm assuming is what MF stands for. There's like a number and then destroy. So I have no idea what those means, but they're different. And like command ops and reload and fire. And then again at the bottom, misfire and hit. So this, it says it's a card driven game. So we know that this deck of cards is what dictates gameplay. I'm going to put this aside just for now because like I said, I'm going to try to figure it out this time with the components alone and only go to that if I feel I have to, because it's not really a fair guess if I'm reading. All right, so it did say on the back of the box that it came with 3 mounted game boards, 4 die cut counter sheets, player aid cards. Okay, so that's what these are then, I think. No, those are not. I don't know. This says... It really does run on the family that we drop things. Our kids do the same thing. Bonus victory condition. Oh, no, they don't all say that. So there's these bonus ones in the front, and then the other ones just say squad level combat, just what the front of the box says. But I haven't figured out what these are for yet. We'll leave those. So 1, 2. There's only 2 of these, so those can't be the player aid unless it's front and back. Okay, it is. So these must be the player aid. What did it say they were called? Cards. Player aid cards. Squad level combat in the jungle. It doesn't say, but I'm assuming that's what they are because it has all of their different like stats and stuff on them, and it's front and back. So and it's 2 player. So 1 for each player. So this is the front and this is the back of those. So these are the player aid cards. Again, I think these just help when you're using these cards. You kind of apply that to what you've already got on here is my guess. But we know there's 2 of them because it's 1 to 2 player. Here are the counters. These are some pretty good size counters. I like big counters. That's what she said. All right, so these look like the vehicles. So we have some tanks and some trucks, a Huey, which is a helicopter. I only know that because there's a picture of a helicopter on the actual counter. Otherwise, I wouldn't have known that. So these are like the transportation. And then on the back, it's like if they get damaged, you flip it, and that's what indicates that it's been damaged, I'm guessing, because that's what it says on the back. So there's the back, and there is the front. So these are really, really big. These are the biggest ones, though. The rest of them are a little bit smaller. And then these are all of, like, the other ones, like the action-y ones and the people, like the different characters are different. What are they called? Not characters, but what do they call it? The different...
Infantry?
Infantry people. Yeah, there you go. So there is one. And they do have different stuff on the back. So depending on what action card and what happens to you, I guess you are able to flip these over to indicate damage or indicate, you know, different things. But that is what those look like. These are the boring ones to me. I mean, these are actually a lot simpler than some ones I've seen. He showed me a game that he wants me to do. And it looks just like, I don't even know if I would be able to speak in that video because I would just be so confused. But these are pretty simple, like rubble, smoke, hover, fired, OPs complete. So I think I'm good. I mean, I think those are pretty easy to figure out.
NATO symbols, by the way.
Native symbols? NATO symbols.
That's what I was showing you.
Oh, that's what he was showing me. See, I didn't even know what the heck he just said. These are like the different people that you fight with. And it's American, Vietnam, and what was the other one? Korean or something? Not Korean. Was it Korean? I don't remember. It had 3 different things listed in this little booklet about what the game was based on. Like the America's awesome firepower, the Viet Cong, and then the North Vietnamese. So that's who these counters represent, is all those different people. I accidentally snapped one out, so we'll just pop that one off and show you. Painted my nails just for the occasion because I know how much you guys appreciate that. All right, there is that. I'll stick that in there. So that is just all the different sides, all the different military. And then there's some blank ones. No, there's not. They just don't have anything on the back of them. Just more of those, and then fired, OPs complete. So lots of counters. They feel pretty good quality. Not really thrilled with the way they look. I just like the more cartoony ones. Like, I like the stuff that is like fantasy almost. Like, I don't like just the boring blah blah, but I guess all of this to me is boring blah blah, and to you guys it's like, oh my gosh, the coolest thing ever. All right, here are the 3 mounted boards, which we learned in the first Gimpys Gal Guesses that's just what they call the game boards. So there is one. I don't know if you use all 3 or if you choose one. That was one. Here's the second. So they are different, but I don't know. I'm assuming you can choose. It says 1 to 3 hours, so maybe you can play on one. Maybe you can put them all 3 together. I'm not sure. But clearly we're not going to get much just off of what I've looked at so far. Let's go ahead and open these and just see what these are, because I'm confused on if these are part of the expansion or if they're part of this. Because these just say, yeah, the same things that those do. I'm guessing this is with one of the expansions, is my guess. But he doesn't even know, so it's not going to do us any good. But we'll see. All right. So far we know it is a Vietnam-based game between America, the Viet Cong, and the North Vietnamese. And it is a fighting game, obviously. There's vehicles, there's people, and it's a card-driven game. And that's it. That's my guess off of what I've seen thus far. I'm just going to glance through here really quick and see if there's anything that I missed, but I don't really think so. I think it's pretty much the bulk of it, and I am going to go over the expansions at the end of this. All right, so I think I was pretty spot on. Gimpy and I were just talking because sometimes he does help me. I am his wife. He wants to stay happy, so he does help me. And I did notice this after he started talking about it, but this is tactical, is what he was explaining to me, which basically, in layman's terms, is a smaller fight. You know, like it's more centralized, whereas that one, which is called what? What is
Enemy
that?
Action Ardennes.
Enemy Action Ardennes?
Ardennes.
Is like a whole country, and you can't really see as much detail as you can see on these game boards. So that's one thing we were just talking about, is that this is going to be a lot closer and a lot more detailed as far as locations and movement and people, because it's a tactical game. But I did want to add one more thing to my guess, because I did read just a tiny little bit, because I want to make sure I give you guys the general gist of it in case you are watching this for educational purposes, which I really pray you're not, because most of the time I'm like somewhat correct, but missing big chunks of important information. So I do, obviously we know from the front of the box, it's a Vietnam, fighting game, 1 to 2 players, and you control your, army of men, and you try to defeat the other. There are scenarios, we did see that on there, I think they were just in the back of this book, so that would dictate what, see scenario 6, 4 on the highway, so there's a bunch of scenarios in the back of the book, so that tells you, I guess, what the setup looks like, and then it's just using the cards to play, and it's not just playing a card and then they play a card. There's still a strategy involved in it, I'm assuming, but it is a card driven game, and your goal is to defeat your enemy. So that is what Tactical Game 65 is, squad level combat in the jungles of Vietnam. So now I am going to do something a little different and talk about a couple of expansions that he has with this, because one of the expansions is something that a lot of you really, really enjoy, which is a Solitaire one. So let me grab that out really quickly. There's 2 expansions here. One is Solitaire, and I guess one is just an expansion that's 2-player. So here is the here's the multiplayer one, I guess. This one says Tactical Supplement USMC/ANZAC. I don't know what that means, but it comes with more counters. And here's the little rule book. It comes with some more scenarios in it. So just more scenarios. So it's basically just an exact expansion of this, just with more scenarios and more counters, more vehicles, that kind of thing. Here are the counters for the expansion. And there is the backs of them. You can pause it and zoom it in if you'd like. So that is the first expansion. So my guess for that expansion is, like I just said, same as what I guessed for this. It's just it just adds more scenarios and more counters to the mix. Correct? All right.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, we're not going to, because it's not going to go back in anyway. And this one is the one that a lot of you will be interested in. This is the Solitaire one, and I am cheating a little bit because he told me before that this was Solitaire because he really wanted me to mention this one, but he didn't tell me anything else about it. So we know it's Solitaire, though, because it says Alone in the Jungle on the front of this. So this is like the little rule book, Alone in the Jungle. So this is the Solitaire expansion for this, and it does come with more counters, and oh, this is so cool. It kind of reminds me of my Euro style games because it has these little octagon or pentagon, what are those? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hexagon tiles that are like game board, but it's just a single tile, it's just a single space. So I'm guessing you can take one of the game boards and you can add these like little huts, it looks like, onto them when you're playing solo, or there's like blank ones and they're like grass and all the different ones, and then there's different counters. So my guess is you still use some of the stuff from the bulk game, obviously, or it wouldn't be an expansion. It's not like a game all in itself, but it does take and make this Solitaire. So that's my guess with this, is that this must have some type of player run or card run deck or something in this, or maybe you have a different objective. Maybe you're not trying to defeat the enemy per se, but you're trying to get somewhere, you're trying to find something, and that's what makes it Solitaire. But that is what this specific expansion does, is it makes this game Solitaire. And I really like these little pieces here because they really do look like my Euro style tiles. I don't remember the name of the game. Which game is it that has the hexagons?
Talking about Caverna?
I think it is Caverna, where you flip them and then you get to pick where you put it and then you move around. It's really fun, but that has nothing to do with this. But that's what those remind me of. So this is like I said, the counters for the Solitaire. And then there is more cards, or there are more cards. It just says Alone in the Jungle. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that there's got to be either a totally different set of objectives, or it's got to be a card run, or like an auto play enemy, or whatever that's called. Whatever it's called in Solitaire game, where you're playing Solitaire, but you're still versing someone else or whatever. I don't know. It's late, and I'm probably not making any sense, but yeah, I'm definitely not reading this. But that's my guess. So, to recap, the bulk, this squad level combat in the jungles of Vietnam, so what is it called? Tactical 65, is a Vietnam-based combat game where you try to defeat your enemy. It's 2 players, and it is a card-driven game. And then we have the expansion, which adds more scenarios and more people, more vehicles. And then we have the Solitaire expansion, which takes and makes this Solitaire. That's my guess for it. You win by defeating your enemy, obviously, or in the Solitaire version, maybe it's not necessarily defeating another team, but finding someone, or maybe it's a different objective for that. But that is my guess. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this Gimpys Gal Guesses. Be sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!